Hi babies, welcome back to part 2 on intermediate positions for backdoor play. Today, in these 3 positions that I'm going to give to you, I want you to be mindful of how deep your penetration is, as well as how hard you were thrusting. These positions are definitely more up there in skill level compared to last week's beginner positions. Now, if you haven't watched the beginners video, I definitely suggest that you go back and do so. I'm gonna drop the link to last week's video into my show notes. Now, the reason why I say start at beginner, because these positions are going to be much deeper, or at least allow you to go a lot deeper than those positions would. After all, we always want to start off slow, especially when we are in uncharted territory. That being said, I'm still going to remind y'all about the rule of 3, and that is a communication, lubrication, and relaxation. These 3 are very much so necessary when we are partaking in backdoor play of any kinds, and actually just in intimacy in general. But first, before we dive into this week's episode, I want to take a second to talk about Beducated. Beducated has taken sex education to a whole nother level with how-tos, visuals, and demos, taking that education that we should have got based around pleasure and safety in school and just blew it out of the water by giving us everything we wanted to know about exploring and how to step right into our pleasure, which is exactly why all y'all are here. They offer you courses on literally everything intimacy, all the way from tantric sex, how to get to know your own body, rough sex, and different types of kinks. Like I said, there is something for everybody, and I could sit here for hours trying to list out every course that I've taken or every course that you should take, but I think it's time that you go and you explore for yourself, because Beducated and I have given you a special offer. We had gifted you 40% off your whole year when you use the code PLEASUREBABY. But first, if you want to go into the site to see if you actually really vibe with it, which I know you will because you love my content, we've also given you free access for 24 hours to the site, so you can go check it out before you make your purchase. And if you make your purchase and something comes up or you don't really vibe with it, you have 14 days money back guaranteed. So we are pretty much confident that you are going to find something to fit you and your partner's needs. Oh, and is it the first time I brought up partner? Because it is bomb and extra kinky to learn with your partner. And it's a perfect person to practice on because obviously it's your lover. So if you're curious about Beducated, click that link down below, enter in the code PLEASUREBABY, and you will be gifted 40% off your whole year. Or take that free 24-hour access to the website. All right, babies, now let's dive back into our first position, which is the Eiffel Tower. So the Eiffel Tower position is actually very similar to standing doggy, where the receiving partner is going to be bent forward and using the ground for support. Now, if you can't reach forward all the way to the ground, don't worry, you can also use your shins or your quads to place your hand on for that extra support. Now, the penetrating partner is going to be entering from behind. Pretty self-explanatory. However, the person in the back should be there supporting the person in the front. One of the ways they can do so is by holding their hips. This position is really hot because it gives the person that's penetrating almost all of the control. Very dom-like. Also, the bent over partner's booty hole is right there for plain view. And this gives your partner an opportunity to get handsy with you. Like I said, grabbing them by the hips, playing with those cheeks, reaching around to touch their other bits. Now, if you want to modify this a little bit and just like spice it up, maybe a little bit of light bondage, where you take your partner's hands and cross them over in that handcuff position and hold them there. Or perhaps you grab them by the wrists and you hold them back like in an airplane position. I don't know why I call it airplane position, because I don't think anyone else does, but like when I see this, like this reminds me of an airplane. Handcuff, airplane. Those are your 2 modifications. Obviously, there are tons more, but those are the ones that I'm going to give to you today. Now, the second position that I want to cover is more so an OG, and it wouldn't be complete without me ever touching base on it, and that is doggy style. This position is super easy to perform because the receiving partner is on all fours, where the penetrating partner is kneeling right behind them. One of the really hot things about this position is that it allows your partner to be very dominant, where the receiving partner is quite submissive. This position also allows for a deeper penetration, but at the same time, the receiver can also control that speed and that angle of depth. So they can use more of those power and force moves, such as grabbing by the waist, the hips, the shoulder, the hair, or the receiving partner can actually push back up into them backing that booty up. Now, because the penetration can be pretty deep on this one, the modification that I'm going to give is using an Onut. It's almost like a C-ring, just a little bit more dense, but it's a stretchy, wearable kind of buffer that allows you to customize the depth of penetration you're receiving. So you can place it all the way at the base of the shaft, or you can place it at the midpoint, or really whatever fits you and your needs. Now, finally, the last one being one of my favorites is the lap dance. Now, if you are the receiving partner, get ready because you are about to put in some work. All you need to do is get your partner to sit down on a chair, a bed, or a couch with their legs spread open. Now, all you need to do as the receiving partner is reverse back up onto him. Sit on him like you're gonna be sitting on a chair. Obviously, when you picture this picture, it's gonna be looking like you're giving them a lap dance. Now, the reason I like this position so much is because it gives the receiver total control over the speed, the depth of penetration, and the angle it's going in at, as well as the receiver has access to stimulate other areas of their body. And pretty much the only thing that the penetrating partner has to do is just sit there, and they can also let their hands wander too. Now, since the receiver is in total control, it can get a little bit tiring. So if you feel yourself tiring out, instead of leaning forward to give you more momentum, lean back onto your partner and rest your weight on their lap. All right, babies, that's all I have for you guys today in the intermediate section for positions. Now, obviously, there are tons of different positions out there that you can venture and try. However, I just gave you my top 3. Now, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe because you definitely don't want to miss when I drop the advanced positions, because these ones are deeper and deeper and a little bit more intimate. All right, I will see you guys later in the week for another episode. Cheers.